The NFL Draft is known as one of the biggest and most dramatic events in all of sports. Today we're going to be looking at the best draft classes in the history of the NFL Draft. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification to get alerts when we upload. Without further ado, let's jump to number 10. Number 10. The 2014 NFL Draft. The Houston Texans opened the draft by selecting defensive end Jadeveon Clowney from the University of South Carolina. The last time a defensive player was taken first overall was 2006 when the Texans selected Mario Williams. 2016 Defensive Player of the Year and arguably one of the most dominant players in the NFL, Khalil Mack, was drafted 5th overall by the Oakland Raiders. 2014 Offensive Rookie of the Year and one of the best receivers in the NFL, Odell Beckham Jr., was selected 12th overall by the New York Giants. 2014 Defensive Rookie of the Year, 2018 and 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald was selected 13th overall. Mike Evans was selected 7th overall by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Anthony Barr went 9th to the Vikings. Eric Ebron, Taylor Lewan, Kyle Fuller, Ryan Shazier, CJ Mosley, Zach Martin, Brandon Cooks, HaHa Clinton-Dix, Dee Ford, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Derek Carr were all in this draft. Number 9. The 2004 NFL Draft. The 2004 NFL Draft was arguably one of the most dramatic drafts in NFL history. The draft started with the San Diego Chargers selecting Mississippi quarterback Eli Manning with the first overall selection. Manning was later traded to the New York Giants because of Archie Manning, Eli's father, declaring that he did not want to play for San Diego. Manning was traded for 4th overall pick Phillip Rivers of NC State. Larry Fitzgerald out of Pittsburgh was selected number 3 overall by the Cardinals. Sean Taylor was selected by the Redskins out of Miami. Overall, this draft was filled with talent, but busts like Robert Gallery, who went 2nd overall to the Raiders, Reggie Williams, who went 9th overall to the Jaguars, and Dunta Robinson, who went 10th overall to the Texans, moved this draft back to number 9. Number 8. The 1998 NFL Draft. Before the draft, there was much debate in the media on if the Colts should select Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf, both of whom were considered excellent prospects and future franchise quarterbacks. On the day of the draft, the Colts decided to go with Peyton Manning out of Tennessee. Manning went on to win 5 MVP awards, which was the most out of any player in NFL history. He was also a 2-time Super Bowl champion and known as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Leaf, however, was out of the NFL in 2002 and is considered one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. Other players that were selected in this draft were Randy Moss, Hines Ward, and Charles Woodson. As of now, Randy Moss is the only player from the 1998 NFL Draft to have been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Peyton Manning and Charles Woodson are likely future Hall of Famers. Number 7. The 2001 NFL Draft. An astounding 19 of the 31 players selected in the first round in 2001 played football in 2010 or are signed in 2011. That's nearly 2 out of every 3 picks. A remarkable percentage for a sport where injuries alone end many careers prematurely. The first 5 picks of the second round included 4 Pro Bowlers: Drew Brees, Kyle Vanden Bosch, Al Crumpler, and Chad Ochocinco. The first player selected in the draft was quarterback Michael Vick from Virginia Tech, who was picked by the Falcons after they acquired the first pick in a trade with the Chargers. The Chargers at number 5 picked up LaDainian Tomlinson. Reggie Wayne went 30, Ochocinco went 36, Steve Hutchinson went 17, Steve Smith went 74, and Richard Seymour went number 6 overall to the New England Patriots. Number 6. The 2007 NFL Draft. The first round was the longest in the history of the NFL Draft, lasting 6 hours and 8 minutes. One of the biggest stories of the NFL Draft was the fall of Notre Dame quarterback Brady Quinn. Quinn wasn't selected until the 22nd pick in the first round by the Cleveland Browns, who acquired the pick in a trade with the Dallas Cowboys. The number 1 overall pick in this draft was Jamarcus Russell, who was selected 1st overall by the Oakland Raiders. Although Russell is known as one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history, this draft still had a volume of reliable starters and players selected that are now widely regarded as future Hall of Famers. The draft included Patrick Willis, Darrelle Revis, Marshall Yanda, Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, and Adrian Peterson, who are all widely regarded as being among the greatest to ever play at their respective positions. 17 of the first 32 overall picks also made the Pro Bowl. Number 5. The 1981 NFL Draft. For the first time, the top 2 picks of the draft were named Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year. The first overall pick of the draft belonged to the New Orleans Saints, who decided to take running back George Rogers out of South Carolina. There were a grand total of 7 Hall of Famers in this draft following the Saints' first overall pick, which included Mike Singletary, Lawrence Taylor, Ronnie Lott, Howie Long, Ricky Jackson, Russ Grimm, and Kenny Easley. Number 4. The 1989 NFL Draft. After first overall pick Troy Aikman was picked by the Dallas Cowboys, One of the biggest busts in NFL history, Tony Mandarich was picked second. However, the rest of the top 5 was Barry Sanders at 3, Derek Thomas at 4, and Deion Sanders at 5. The Hall of Famers in this draft were Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, Deion Sanders, and Troy Aikman. Other notable players in this draft were Steve Atwater, Steve Wisniewski, Andre Rison, and Eric Metcalf. Rison was picked 22nd overall and Steve Atwater was picked 20th overall. The 1989 NFL Draft is known as one of the best first rounds in NFL history. Number 3, the 1996 NFL Draft. The 96 class was spectacular. Jonathan Ogden, Marvin Harrison, and Terrell Owens are already in the Hall of Fame. They're also joined by Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins, and Terrell Owens. Other stars that were drafted this year were Keyshawn Johnson, Simeon Rice, Eddie George, Lawyer Malloy, Zach Thomas, Eric Moulds, and Mike Alstott. The first overall pick in this draft was Keyshawn Johnson, and after him, it just got better. The class is famous for its incredible crop of wide receivers, having 8 different receivers getting elected to the Pro Bowl, 7 of which were elected to multiple. Number 2, the 2011 NFL Draft. The Carolina Panthers, who had the worst record in the 2010 NFL season, had the right to the first selection in each round of the draft. With the first pick, the Panthers selected Auburn University quarterback Cam Newton, who was the 2010 Heisman Trophy winner. A second Heisman Trophy winner, running back Mark Ingram from Alabama, was selected by New Orleans late in the first round. For the third time in NFL history, the top 2 selections of the draft, Cam Newton and Von Miller, won Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year awards, respectively. Many other players in this draft have Hall of Fame potential, including 3-time Defensive Player of the Year JJ Watt, NFL MVP Cam Newton, Super Bowl 50 MVP Von Miller, 2015 and 2018 receiving yards leader Julio Jones, and perennial All-Pro players such as Richard Sherman, AJ Green, Tyron Smith, Justin Houston, and Patrick Peterson. Number 1, the 1983 NFL Draft. This draft was frequently referred to as the quarterback class of 1983 because 6 quarterbacks were taken in the first round. Of the 6 quarterbacks, John Elway, Jim Kelly, and Dan Marino have been elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Of the 28 players drafted in the first round, 15 made at least 1 Pro Bowl appearance. The 7 that made the Hall of Fame were Eric Dickerson, who was drafted 2nd overall, Jim Kelly, who went 14th, Elway, who went number 1, Dan Marino, who went 27th, Bruce Matthews, who went 9th overall, Darrell Green, who went 28th overall, and Richard Dent, defensive end, who went 203rd overall. Let us know in the comments down below which NFL draft class was your favorite. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more sports content. As always, we'll see you guys next time.